Let's be honest, most men think intimacy begins the moment bodies touch, but the truth is, she's already making up her mind about you long before that. She's not just looking at your hands, your smile, or the way you dress. She's scanning the energy you bring, the confidence you carry, the kind of presence that makes her feel safe, desired, and deeply understood. And right now, if you're thinking this is just about physical touch, you're missing the secret most men never learn. What separates the connection that fades after a night from the one that lingers in her mind for days isn't just your looks or your words. It's what happens in the moments before you even think about closeness. It's subtle, it's invisible, but it's far more powerful than any line you could rehearse. She notices the way you move around her, the way your voice holds weight, the way your energy shifts in her presence. Every detail matters because women process emotion differently. She feels first. Logic comes second. If you can master this prelude, you don't just attract her. You make her experience a depth of intimacy she didn't even know existed. Think about the last time someone truly captivated you without touching you. That feeling, that pull, that magnetic tension, it's intoxicating because it's psychological. You don't see it, you feel it, and that's exactly what you need to create before you even think about physical closeness. It's not manipulation. It's understanding the science of attraction and the language of female psychology that most men overlook. Confidence isn't just standing tall or speaking clearly. It's carrying an energy that reassures her. Curiosity, intrigue, and emotional awareness become your tools. When you harness them, you step into a space where she's naturally drawn in, anticipating your next move, but never feeling rushed or pressured. Here's the catch most men miss. Women can sense desperation and insecurity faster than a lie, and when that creeps in, attraction dies instantly. But if you approach her with calm self-assurance, if you listen more than you speak, if you create tension that's playful yet charged with intention, you don't just seduce her body, you seduce her mind. And this isn't about tricks or cheesy lines. It's about creating a psychological resonance that stays with her long after the night ends. Right now, you may be thinking, but what exactly do I do? That's why most men fail. They jump straight to touch, assuming that chemistry is enough. Chemistry without depth is fleeting. She wants connection. She wants to feel seen. She wants to experience a version of intimacy that makes her heart race before her lips even meet yours. And you can give her that. It starts with awareness, control, and a subtle yet deliberate energy that sets you apart from every other man she's ever encountered. Before anything physical, ask yourself this. Do you know how to make her feel you without touching her? Do you know how to communicate desire through tension, anticipation, and emotional presence? If not, you're leaving a connection, a spark, and an unforgettable experience on the table. And once she feels that, everything changes. Intimacy isn't just about what happens in the moment. It's about what happens in the moments before she even thinks about touching you. The way you speak, the way you move, the way you make her feel safe yet excited, it all counts. Most men focus on physical dominance or charm, but she's looking for emotional dominance, not control, but presence, that rare magnetic energy that tells her you're the man she can both trust and desire at the same time. Imagine this. She's sitting across from you, maybe laughing at something you said, maybe quietly observing. Every subtle action you take, your posture, your eye contact, your timing, sends a message. She's reading your confidence like a book, even if you think she's just being polite. When you slow down your words, when you let your voice carry intention, when you touch her lightly but meaningfully, your presence lingers, and that lingering presence creates anticipation. Anticipation is more intoxicating than any touch. Here's a truth most men ignore. Women are wired to feel more than they see. They feel tension, attraction, and connection before they even understand it intellectually. If you can create that feeling intentionally, you step into a realm where physical intimacy becomes inevitable. She'll want to be close, Not because you pushed her there, but because your energy pulled her in. That pull is emotional, it's psychological, and it's far stronger than any move you can make with your hands. Now let's talk about vulnerability, yours but used strategically. Most men think vulnerability makes them weak. In reality, when done correctly, it creates depth and trust. Sharing a small, meaningful story, revealing a subtle truth about yourself, or expressing quiet confidence in your emotions, these are the invisible threads that tie her attention to you. She'll start feeling like no one else understands her the way you do, and once she feels that, the physical connection becomes electric. She doesn't just want your body, she wants the experience of being understood, seen, and desired on a level she rarely encounters. Here's what separates men who are memorable from men who are forgotten: patience and awareness. You don't rush, you don't over-explain, you don't act like a man who needs validation. Instead, you move deliberately, speak intentionally, and create a subtle tension that makes her heart beat faster without her even realizing why. She will sense that you're in control, not controlling her, but controlling your own energy and emotions. That control becomes irresistible, and here's the kicker. Once she feels this connection, every subsequent moment matters exponentially more. A touch, a glance, a whispered word, they're amplified because you've already built the foundation. Most men never learn this. They jump straight to physical intimacy and wonder why it doesn't last. But you, by mastering the moments before touch, by mastering presence, tension, and emotional resonance, you become unforgettable. She will remember the way you made her feel long after the encounter ends. Ask yourself now, are you consciously creating this energy, or are you letting it happen by accident? Because once you understand and implement this, she won't just want intimacy, she'll feel it before it even happens. She can feel the difference between a man who is merely present and a man who exists in her world without trying to dominate it. She senses depth, and depth isn't something you can fake. It's in your silence, in your patience, in the way you observe her without judgment. Every glance, every pause, every subtle smile becomes a signal that you're not just another man. You are someone who can make her feel seen, heard, and desired simultaneously, and that's addictive. Before you think about physical closeness, understand this: emotional resonance precedes intimacy. You can't rush it. You can't force it. She needs to feel the vibration of your presence. That vibration is confidence wrapped in curiosity, awareness, and subtle dominance. Not through words, but through energy. She's wired to pick up on this every micro-expression, every shift in your tone, every intentional pause. It all tells her a story she can't resist. She will feel drawn to you, not because you persuaded her, but because your energy aligns with what she unconsciously craves. Here's where most men fail. They underestimate the power of anticipation. She isn't interested in being rushed. She's interested in the journey, in the tension, in the magnetic pull that makes her heart race before anything physical happens. When you slow down, when you hold back, when you make your attention selective yet meaningful, you trigger her curiosity and desire. That curiosity turns into obsession, subtly, without her even realizing it. She starts replaying your interactions in her mind, feeling every moment, every intention, every glance. That's the level you need to reach before intimacy, when her mind and heart are already invested. The next step is subtle emotional layering. Share glimpses of yourself strategically, your passions, your quiet confidence, your humor, your unpredictability, but don't overexpose. Let her fill in the gaps herself. Women love to discover a man layer by layer. The mystery isn't just in silence, it's in how she feels you navigating the space between words, between gestures, between presence and absence. That invisible dance creates chemistry far beyond anything physical. She'll feel your energy in her body, in her thoughts, even when you're not around. Remember, tension is your ally. Emotional tension, anticipation, and subtle unpredictability amplify attraction like nothing else. She feels alive around you, alert, curious, and drawn to your energy. And here's the truth. Once she experiences this, she doesn't just want intimacy, she craves it, but only because you've created an environment where her emotions are fully engaged. Your patience and presence become irresistible. So ask yourself this: when you're with her, are you present enough to make her feel the full force of your energy before intimacy? Are you creating tension, curiosity, and emotional resonance that she can't ignore? Because if you master this, she will feel a connection so deep, so vivid, that every touch, every kiss, every moment becomes a memory she can't erase. She will feel you on a level most men will never reach, and that level is unforgettable. Most men approach intimacy thinking it's about technique, but she doesn't remember technique. She remembers how you made her feel. That feeling lingers in her body, her mind, and even in the quiet moments when she's alone. And that feeling isn't random. It's something you can create intentionally, long before anything physical happens. You can make her feel you deeply with nothing more than presence, energy, and subtle psychological mastery. It starts with awareness, true, deliberate awareness of her energy. Notice the way she shifts when she talks. Notice her micro-expressions, the little signs of curiosity, the tension in her voice when she's drawn to something you say. Respond to these cues, not with words, but with energy. Mirror her subtly. Let her feel that you understand her without having to say it. That understanding creates trust, desire, and anticipation all at once. And here's the secret: women don't just respond to what you do, they respond to what you make them feel before anything even happens. Next, let's talk about pacing. Most men rush. They think intimacy is about speed, urgency, or immediate gratification. But when you slow down, when you take the time to create tension, anticipation, and connection, you amplify desire exponentially. Your presence alone becomes electric. Every gesture, every look, every shift in tone carries weight. She feels the pull in her body, the spark in her mind, the curiosity in her heart. You're no longer just a man in the room, you're an experience, and experiences stick. Now add layers of emotional contrast. Be calm yet playful, be confident yet subtly vulnerable, be engaging yet mysteriously reserved. These contrasts create tension that she feels, not just notices. It's like a magnetic field she can't resist. Her attention becomes fixed on you, her anticipation builds, and every subsequent moment, every laugh, every touch, every glance lands with impact far greater than if you had simply been present without intention. And here's the subtle genius most men miss: anticipation becomes desire. When you create a psychological space where she's mentally and emotionally engaged, her body follows. She'll feel the connection even before your hand touches hers. She'll feel the pull, the spark, the chemistry, because you've orchestrated it in the moments leading up to intimacy. That's why some nights are unforgettable and some are forgettable, because energy and emotional depth always trump physical technique. Finally, remember this: patience is power. The longer you build anticipation, the stronger the emotional and physical pull becomes. By mastering presence, tension, and emotional resonance, you step into a role few men ever achieve. A man who can make a woman feel him before touch, before intimacy, before anything else. And when she finally experiences the physical side, it's magnified beyond imagination. She doesn't just want you, she remembers you, she feels you, and that feeling becomes permanent. Ask yourself now, are you consciously building this emotional and psychological intensity, or are you letting it fade in the rush of physical desire? Because the men who master this, the men who make her feel them before intimacy, they are unforgettable. If you want her to truly feel you, you have to understand one core truth. Women crave emotional intensity before anything physical. She doesn't just want a man to hold her or kiss her. She wants to experience the electricity of being truly seen, understood, and desired. That electricity doesn't happen by accident. It's created through deliberate attention, subtle tension, and a mastery of emotional triggers that most men completely overlook. Think about it. Every meaningful connection she's ever had started before hands ever touched. It started with a glance that lingered, a conversation that sparked curiosity, a feeling that she couldn't put into words. That's exactly what you need to create. You need to become the source of that anticipation, that heartbeat-quickening tension, that undeniable pull she feels in her chest. And it all begins with presence, the kind of presence that communicates confidence, emotional depth, and silent understanding all at once. Here's a truth most men ignore. Subtlety is more powerful than boldness. A lingering look, a gentle smile, a slightly teasing comment, all of these things signal to her subconscious that you're aware, capable, and in control of your energy. She will feel it in her body before she even realizes her mind is drawn to you. This is the hidden language of attraction, the code most men never learn, and the reason why some men leave unforgettable impressions while others fade into memory. Another key factor is emotional contrast. Women are drawn to men who can make them feel alive through contrast. Calm yet intense, playful yet commanding, attentive yet mysteriously distant. This contrast creates tension that she feels physically, emotionally, and mentally. She becomes aware of your presence in ways she can't articulate, and that awareness builds anticipation that is almost impossible to resist. Every interaction becomes layered with meaning, even if she doesn't consciously notice why. Timing is everything. Knowing when to lean in with attention and when to pull back with subtle detachment creates a rhythm she responds to. She begins to anticipate your moves, your energy, your voice. That anticipation turns into craving, not just for touch, but for the emotional experience you create. By the time you move closer, she's already feeling intimacy on a level that is deep, raw, and unforgettable. Finally, understand this. The men who succeed aren't the ones who rush. They are the ones who intentionally orchestrate energy, tension, and emotional resonance. They make her feel seen, understood, and desired long before a kiss, a touch, or any physical intimacy. And when that connection is established, the intensity of the experience becomes magnified beyond imagination. She doesn't just want you physically. She wants the emotional and psychological connection you've built, and that craving stays with her. Ask yourself this: are you consciously creating this tension, presence, and emotional resonance before intimacy, or are you leaving it to chance? Because the men who master this are the ones women never forget, and they are the ones she feels on a level most men will never reach. The moment you've been building toward, the one where she feels you on a level no one else has, doesn't start when your hands meet hers. It starts the moment she senses your energy, your presence, your deliberate control of the space between you. That's when desire begins. That's when intimacy becomes inevitable. And most men never realize this. They jump straight to touch, thinking chemistry alone will carry the night. But chemistry without depth fades fast. You, on the other hand, can create a lasting memory she can't stop replaying. Here's the final truth. She will feel every nuance of your attention. A subtle glance, a deliberately timed pause, the calm in your voice, the way you lean in just enough to spark curiosity. These are the tools that make her feel you without touching her. When you combine presence with emotional contrast, patience, and awareness, you create a magnetic tension that her mind and body respond to before she even knows why. This is the level where ordinary men fail and extraordinary men are remembered forever. Now, let's talk about anticipation. Real intimacy begins with it. Every small action you take, every carefully measured gesture, every word you speak or withhold builds a crescendo of desire she feels physically. Her heart beats faster, her mind becomes alert, her senses tune into every subtle signal you send, and by the time you move closer, she isn't just willing, she's craving the connection because you've made her feel it long before anything physical happens. You've created an experience she associates with you alone, and that is unforgettable. Remember the power of subtle vulnerability. Sharing a tiny glimpse of your emotions, a meaningful story, or a moment of quiet confidence shows her depth without breaking the tension. That depth is irresistible. She will feel it, and it will make her trust you, desire you, and remember you in ways most men could only dream of. Emotional layering, mixing intensity with calm, curiosity with confidence, creates a psychological imprint, and that imprint lingers. Long after the night ends, she carries the sensation of your energy with her. That is true intimacy. So now, here's what I want you to do. Take a moment, reflect on your energy, your presence, and how you create anticipation before intimacy. Ask yourself this equation: presence plus patience plus emotional resonance equals how unforgettable can you be? Write your answer in the comments, share your experience, and think about how you can use these tools to make every connection deeper, more magnetic, and unforgettable. If this resonated with you, like this video, subscribe for more psychological strategies and share it with a friend who needs to understand the invisible power of presence. Because mastering this isn't just about attraction, it's about creating a connection that she feels on a level no one else ever will.